Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you certainly know that this is my deep dive into a beautiful, an expansive, and expanding, and informing deck called The Tarot of the Holy Light by C.C. Zane and the Brotherhood of Light. And just in case you are new here, let me tell you what exactly it is that I do in this deep dive. Every night before I go to bed, I draw a card for the next day. Yeah, a significator, or I prefer to think of it as what I would benefit from placing my attention on. So I pull that card. First I riffle shuffle the deck, my color, modern, mass market version of the deck. I shuffle that, I pull the card, and then I pull the matching card from my very out of print charcoal gray and white deck, and I compare them, and I look for differences, and sometimes there are sometimes there are many, and then I ask for help. I get my help from another beautiful deck that I have begun working with and studying about 6 months ago, perhaps a little bit more, last year in the summer. I did a deep dive into the Tarot of the Holy Light by the wonderful, amazing Christine Payne-Towler, and I've been using that deck regularly ever since. I just haven't been able to put it down. And so when I decided to do my deep dive into this deck, I decided to use that deck as my helper deck. So I do a 3-card spread. Yeah, significance of the daily draw for me that day. The challenge could be either a beneficial challenge, something I want to strive for, something I want to move in the direction of, or an obstacle kind of challenge. And then perhaps advice. A typical 3-card spread. And then I live my day, and then, I wake up in the morning, and then I live my day, and then I come back here to my place in this winter camp. I'm not at home. In case you're wondering where my bookcases of decks are, I'm not at home. I'm at a winter camp teaching elementary and middle school students. So I come back here to my residence, and I plan out this video. I do my analysis of the cards more intensively, and then come here and record a video for us, for you and for me. And then I repeat the process, yeah? Rinse and repeat. So I've got it all set out for us. Let me show you the daily draw cards right now. Yes, it is a pip deck, right? And the cards, you saw 2 of them, right? One from the modern mass market, easily available, easily purchased deck, and then my charcoal gray and white deck. And you saw that they were the 8 of coins. And you probably also saw that the zodiac information at the top gave us both Gemini and Libra. And at the bottom, there was a planet here. I think it's here in the center, or on this side, gives us Venus. So, Gemini, Libra, coins. Are you saying to yourself, hey, wait a second, those signs are air signs, and this is a coin, this is the earth, what's up with that? Well, in this deck, the swords are earth and the coins are air. This is the first time I think I've gotten a coin card, a card from the coin suit in my daily draw from this deck. So this is interesting. So yes, this is the air suit. And yet that, I don't know. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But yes, this 8 of coins points to the Libra decanate of Gemini and its sub-ruler Venus, from which these cardinal aspects of mutable air, vital attributes, enter our world. So Venus in this card is beaming through the Libra decanate of Gemini, through the house of Gemini into us. And both Gemini, the house, and the Libra decanate of Gemini color and transmute the energy of Venus, the attributes of Venus as they enter our birth charts or our lives or the world. So again, yes, these are all air signs. Now, cardinal air with Libra and mutable air with Gemini. And did you notice the stars up there at the top? Did you notice that the constellations were drawn just a bit differently? They are the same constellation, but this one on the, well, I'm not sure which side it is for you, but the charcoal gray and white, that one has fewer stars than the color version, which was printed later and had more stars added to the card because perhaps we can see more stars now. But they're both the same constellation. So what constellation are they, you ask? The constellation is Canis Minor. And I did a little bit of research into Canis Minor and came up with a diversity of information that was, shall I say, less than helpful. Who is Canis Minor? Well, for one thing, Canis Minor contains Sirius. Do you know the star Sirius? The dog star Sirius, which is interesting, being in the constellation of Canis, dog, the dog star Sirius, yeah, which is the brightest star in the sky, because I believe it's the closest star to us. So the entire constellation of Canis Minor. Oh, let me show you that constellation right now. You're back. Thank you. So that constellation, again, is Canis Minor. And it's imagined as a great dog. And there are several myths that dog appears in. One of them, and perhaps the most common, is the one that the dog is following Orion and is standing on its hind legs pursuing a hare in the sky. So it's Orion's dog chasing a rabbit. Yeah? Okay, that's one thing. That means a lot to me. I mean, it could be that we're chasing after prey in service of somebody else. Maybe. Also, maybe. Okay, that's okay. So maybe. Also, it's associated with Leap. The constellation is associated with the dog named Leap. Lealaps. That's it. Leelaps, the constellation of Leelaps. Wasn't that entertaining watching me try to say that? The dog Leelaps from mythology, who is the fastest dog in the world and was bequeathed by Zeus, you know Zeus, the god, right? The playboy god, to Europa. So why do you think Zeus bequeathed the fastest dog in the world to Europa? Can you guess? Yep. He did it with her. And so Zeus gives her this dog and a javelin to protect herself. This javelin that she receives never misses its mark, which turns out to be unfortunate in the future because she ends up getting killed by it. Anyways, she has a child with Zeus, of course, and that child is none other than King Minos. Does King Minos ring a bell with you? Minos, Minotaur, right? King Minos is the one with the Minotaur in the labyrinth and the one who demands the sacrifice of children to be fed to the Minotaur. That Minos is the son of Europa and Zeus. And that dog was a thank you gift for a wonderful night. So the dog, a thank you gift for a wonderful night. I don't know. The consolation prize for it only being one night. I don't know. But maybe that serving the master to catch the hare, that might actually be meaningful for us in our reading in just a little bit. So we got that consolation. What does this card represent according to the sources? According to the sources, though this is Libra, the Libra decadent of Gemini, so we got that idea of balance in the rather sometimes scattered but very diversely attentive Gemini, but trying to seek for balance, right? And the complement for this card, because it is Venus in Gemini, the complement for that is Mercury in Pisces. And Mercury in Pisces, both Mercury and Gemini are communicators, right? And Mercury in Pisces, communicating emotions. Mercury might get a little bit waterlogged and drowned a little in Pisces, maybe. But so the meanings that are associated with this card, again, we're calling this an air card, and yet a lot of it has to do with money. Costly lawsuits, for example, is one meaning or one significance of this card. Another is travel for love or money, compatible partnerships possible, study for promotion, that would be interesting, legal papers involving financial transactions, support from a friend, assuming financial support. Perseverance at work brings rewards is another one. Financial altercations with neighbors, another thing with money again. There are also divorce agreements and money troubles at home. A lot of the meanings were surrounding money. And maybe that is our intellectual pursuit according to the creators of this deck. Our thoughts are all about the cash. Maybe that's why it's an air suit with the air signs, thinking about money, cash, green tender. So what I pulled out of those things, about what I pulled out of those meanings was potential for some advancement, but also a potential for disagreement and breaking of relationships. I also got from that there's a potential for support, but also a potential for the breakdown of support, both in resources and other aspects of life. The building up and the cracking apart are both potential in this card. And it could be financial, it could be relational. And perhaps that is the core essence of what this card is pointing to for me today. And maybe with that dog chasing the hare for its master, maybe that's an aspect of that relational, somewhat transactional relationship, yeah? The dog is trying to get the hare for the master, because if the dog does that, the dog gets some kind of reward, right? That's a transactional kind of relationship. So that was interesting. That was very interesting. But I also did that 3-card spread. Let me show you those 3 cards right now. Friends, were you with me yesterday when I had 3 cards upright for the second time, and I predicted that today the cards would be 3 reversed? Well, that didn't happen, right? But we did get close to it. We had the first card upright and the second 2 cards reversed. Now, just in case you are new to here, let me remind you or tell you that this deck, the Tarot of the Holy Light, is intended to be worked with reversals. Actually, the Egyptian Tarot is also intended to be worked with reversals, but for me, at this moment, I can only really handle one. Not that reversals are bad things, not that they're challenges in the sense of you better or else you're going to be in big old trouble, Buster. Not that kind of thing necessarily. But they do take they take more intellectual energy to parse out what the meanings are than an upright card sometimes does, sometimes. And so I wanted to limit my uprights and reversals to the deck that I'm more familiar with and leave the new deck upright only. Does that make sense? So you just saw the three cards. And I yammered on for a while, so let me remind you what they were. The first card was upright, and that was the Six of Discs, which we've seen recently. The second card was the Four of Cups, reversed. And the third card was the Seven of Cups, reversed this time. Yesterday, it was upright. Now, side note, do you know that I also pull a charm for myself every day? What do I mean? I've got a set of tarot charms. They're called the Charm Caster's Tarot. And so they're little pewter charms that I attach to a pendant. And so I've got a daily draw a charm of tarot based on Pamela Coleman Smith's art, stick figure drawings of those. And so my card for today, or my charm for today, interestingly, was the King of Cups. So we got a lot of cups here, right? The Four of Cups reversed, the Seven of Cups reversed, my own little King of Cups right here next to my heart. But all leading off with the Six of Discs upright. And what is this? This is supersized Taurus in many ways. This is the Taurus decadent of Taurus, which is the domicile of Venus. And because it is the domicile of Venus, that's what we get as the additional meanings. This is the domicile of this sign, the Six of Discs, supersized Taurus. So the Six of Discs points to the Taurus decadent of Taurus and its sub-ruler Venus, from which these fixed aspects of fixed Earth vital attributes enter our world. A lot of fixed Earth and a lot of Venus, beauty, unions, bonding, enjoyment of the sensual qualities of our lives. All in the Six of Diskiness. And you'll notice in the card, we've got the Platonic solids, right? We've got six of them all lined up in rows of three, all very neat and tidy, but around it we have the chaos of nature. The beauty, the beautifully creative chaos of nature. Because when we see nature growing, if we're not trying to force it into some kind of orderly fashion, for example, the French gardens of the 18th century, just to pull something out of my unconscious, I was going somewhere else. In that period, we were forcing nature to conform to our idea of structure and beauty. Otherwise, nature's beauty and abundance and creative forces are apparently to us chaotic. Of course, there is order there. There is divine order there. But for the human psyche, it looks like chaos. So this card is asking us to learn our worth. Learn how to turn our life to profit. Another thing about money, right? Financial gain. How do we use and become the thing that will be our moneymaker, our resource creator? And also reminding us that possibilities of manifesting successful ideas are abundant, are profound. There's benefit to money in society. I didn't believe that when I was in my 20s, maybe even 30s, but I do believe that there is benefit in money, and there is money is also a great weapon as well, a weapon of destruction. And it's not the money itself that's the problem, but the way we use money. So there is benefit from money in society, and it's good for some of us, especially on the spiritual path, to remember that money is and of itself neutral and can be just as beneficial and good as it can be evil and destructive. And it's all about us, not it. So, money being beneficial, it can be healthy with mutually beneficial exchanges. There is English in this mouth somewhere. it can be a very healthy, healthful thing when it is used for mutually beneficial exchanges. And those mutually beneficial exchanges are those in an economy of an ethical society with honest values and divine, I want to say divine, but essential morals. Not the morals imposed from on high, but the natural morals that are those of the virtue that we have when we are born into these bodies in this world, before we are corrupted by those around us, by society. But in an ethical society, money is of benefit, is a beneficial tool. So that's what this is reminding us of. All that money. The beauty of money. Yeah, sixes are beauty and expansiveness as well. It's also our manifesting our ideas into reality. It's also that manifesting of things into solid form, the Platonic solids, organized solids. So this is the first card. This is the significance of, let me get them back up again. They have slid away from me, of these cards. The significance of these cards, what are they? The 8 of coin, which is air, but still a lot about money, is this, the 6 of coin, of discs, from the Tarot of the Holy Light. So, the transactions, the partnerships that could either be expanded or broken, that can be stable or can be preserved and supported or cracked apart. Yeah. The transactional relationships of the dog to the human catching a hare, a rabbit, can be of beneficial use for us. Yeah, can be for our financial gain, but for our gain of stability, and also for our manifestation of our dreams, our ideals into the world. And so we've got this the next card being this 4 of Cups in reverse. Now the 4 of Cups is the Pisces decadent of Scorpio, and I am Scorpio, and its subruler Jupiter, from which these mutable aspects of fixed water vital attributes enter our world. Now, the mutable aspects of fixed water. Mutable water is, what do we call it? Pisces, and the fixed water is Scorpio. And this card in reverse is, we have the detriment of Mars in Taurus. Mars being the planet for Scorpio. Scorpio is the domicile of Mars. And in this card in reverse, we get the detriment of Mars, not in Scorpio, but in Taurus. So Mars is beaming through Taurus as well, and getting colored by a lot of good, potentially good stuff, but it can also mess up Mars's mind a little bit. So what do we get here? We get here that whereas the upright, let me show you the upright version of this card. Here we have the 4 cups on the tumultuous waves of a storm in the ocean. We've got the sun up there, but the cups appear to be drifting apart in this vastness of water. And so in reverse, we have a strong need, a desire indicated here to focus and stay on track. Now, Taurus doesn't move very quickly, right? Taurus is, I'm going to do things, I'm going to do them at my own pace, and don't even try it. And Mars is like, let's get going, let's go here, let's do this. There's that push me, pull you kind of feeling there. So This card is reminding us that we want to keep on track. We want to keep focused. We don't want to lose focus, even if we're not moving at a pace that Mars perhaps would like, or Scorpio may perhaps like. Because this is the Pisces decadent of Scorpio. Scorpio gets a little bit, it's the fixed, focused. Scorpio is getting a little bit expanded, and Scorpio might not like it all that much in the reversed form. So the advice here is to shake ourselves awake from the passing, drifting state before we go completely off course. So get yourself back in line, Buster, or you're veering off onto the shoulder, let's say. Let's go with that metaphor. But still we want to avoid blaming others for our funky mood that is creating this state for us right now. So we're here because we're feeling a little bit funky, right? And we may be using up our energy on things that our bodies or our psyches dislike, which could be diffusing our energy into all sorts of ways. But we don't want to blame other people for what we are feeling, especially now. Ever really, but especially now. Because it really is all on us. Here. So, Jupiter coming into Scorpio here, in the reversed form, the reversed meaning, the reversed form, in reversal. Let's just say that, in reversal. Jupiter coming into Scorpio through Pisces in this reversal it's too much. Yeah, and it's like, I keep thinking of Stevie Wonder playing the piano. It's like, just stop, cool down and focus. I know Stevie Wonder, there's no criticism for Stevie Wonder, but imagine this all the time. It's like, cool it down a little bit. You know what I mean? It's that feeling of it's rocking and rolling, and sometimes that's fun, but right now we want to focus. So what is the advice? The advice is also a Cups card in reverse. It's the Seven of Cups in reverse. It was upright yesterday. So let me show it to you upright again. We've got the Hydra there feeding off of the Seven Cups, and the ideas of our dreams being catalysts for our future. We've got the idea of our possibilities and our potentials being created by our daydreams, by our active imagination. Here in reverse, what do we have? We have the detriment of Jupiter in Virgo. Now that expansiveness gets a little bit bogged down in details here, sometimes. So the Seven of Cups points to the Cancer decadent of Pisces and its subruler, the Moon, from which the cardinal aspect of mutable water vital attributes enter our world. But this is in reverse. And here Jupiter in Virgo, like I said, can get bogged down in the details, can lose track of the big picture of what we were planning on creating. It can also point to the typical way that people read the Seven of Cups in the Waite-Smith deck, drawn by Pamela Coleman Smith. Now the guy with the cups in front, we see from behind, and in this kind of, we imagine this, kind of attitude. And the cups one has a dragon in it, one has a castle, one has jewels, one has a ghost, one has the head of an angel, one has a laurel wreath. So we got all that thing, and a lot of people read that card the way I would read this card in reverse. I don't read that card this way, but this in reverse is telling us that this can also point to fantasy. Plain and simple fantasy, which is different from daydreams and active imagination and creating things with our mind. And that there's a very important distinction between those. When we actively imagine and vibrationally create our future and know that if we open ourselves to the powerful flow of intention, we can move in that direction and meet them on their way towards us. Fantasy is scattered and wouldn't it be nice if, and if I could only, or it could be, wow, those basketball players look like they're having a lot of fun, and I wonder what that's like, and oh, if I were a basketball player, and oh, if that, and then when you come back to your mind tells you, oh, you can't do that. You don't have the body for that. You don't have the height for that. You don't have the skills for that. Right? Now, some people never really come back to the body, to the mind, and are lost in those fantastical dreams of not potential or even possibilities, of fiction, things that they don't actually honestly believe in. So this could be a lost contact with reality, lost in a subjective trance, a hallucination, which can be informative, surely, but it's not going to create out in reality the same way, for example, an active dream or a daydream of possibility and potential and how I could see myself moving forward in the future and believing it, in deep, honest believing. Now, this in reverse, it's the pipe dreams, right? Impossible expectations based on an intoxicated trance. And we all know people who do that, right? We've run into those people a lot, the dreamers. And there are the dreamers, and then there are the dreamers. And I don't even want to say the dreamers, because the dreamers are the ones who've created our society. The dreamers are the ones who have created every step of our evolution. But there are the dreamers, and then there are the drunk fantasizers. And this is pointed towards the drunk fantasizers. So what does this all mean for me today? Well, today I think I was being pointed towards keeping on track, staying on focus, not getting caught up in either positive or negative fantasies, but staying in the present with what was going on. Because today we were starting to rehearse these scripts that the students had started writing, that had written. And it was as difficult, shall I say, as I probably knew it probably could be, because this is a process that these students are not used to. We were doing things like blocking. If you know anything about theater, we started blocking, and I wanted the director student, to be at least majorly involved in, if not entirely in charge of, the blocking of this thing. But I didn't really have time to coach the director of the script to do it. So I was we were co-directing in a way. We were. It sounds like there was only me and one other student. There was me and one other student for this group, me and a different student for that group, me and another student for the third group. And the first one didn't go wonderfully. The second one went a little bit better. The third one was just a shit show. I'm sorry, it just was a shit show. Because we started reading the script, and we realized that the script needed major revisions. So I had to send the script back out with the writers, and so they had to rewrite, and I sent the other kids to continue working on other things like posters and costumes and props. And so we didn't get nearly as far as I'd hoped for with that group. But really, I didn't get as far as I'd hoped to with any of the groups. And so, yeah, there are those, I don't know, I was perhaps chasing hares in service of the master of this program, maybe. And maybe the hair was a little bit elusive, perhaps. Perhaps that 6 of discs was pointing to that I am creating in this chaos that really was chaos in a couple of times. And I intentionally lost my temper a couple of times, not harshly, but I raised my voice, I clapped my hands so that everybody got the attention, and so they would quiet so we could focus. Because they're elementary school students, and a couple of times, which hadn't happened much up until today, but a couple of times they were just off on their 5th, 6th grader energetic excursions of the psyche. You know what I mean? So I did that. I had to do that. And maybe that was also keep focused, keep on track. But don't get caught up in either the negative fantasy of this is never going to work out, or the positive fantasy of, just let it go and everything's going to be okay, because focus is demanded. That was the challenge for today, I think. That 4 of Cups was the challenge. Focus. Keep yourself and help to keep others on track before we go that's it, careening off into the bushes. That's the metaphor I was trying to reach for. Before we go careening off into the bushes. And so I think that's what this was all about. And also that King of Cups charm was for me to try to remember to keep my emotional balance in a sea of chaos, of chaotic emotions, which in many instances today was. So that's what it was. That's what it was today. I think this was a very good reading for me today. Yes. What do you think? Do you think it was beneficial? Do you see the specifics of what we saw in the cards having revealed themselves to me during the day? Do you agree? Let me know in the comments below. Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. We can engage. I can learn from you. Also, if you are still here, please hit that thumbs up button so that YouTube knows that you got something out of this and others might get something out of it too. They'll draw more eyes to the channel. Also, if you want these decks, they are available. Christine Payne-Towler's beautiful Tarot of the Holy Light is available, and a link to her site is in the description box below. So let me show you one of the cards. Well, let me show you 3 of the cards right here. This is a fabulous deck. This deck has helped me to grow immensely as a reader, and it continues to help me grow immensely as a reader, as does the creator of the deck, the brilliant, amazing teacher, Christine Payne-Towler. Also, this version of the Egyptian Tarot is also available. There's a link below. So go check this one out and get this one. This also is expansive, even though there is that bit of a challenge of the suits being, for those of us who were reared on most of the decks where swords are air and coins, discs, or pentacles are earth. That's a little bit of a challenge, but it's not an insurmountable challenge at all, and it helps us to expand our way of seeing things, I think. So I highly recommend this deck. And if you want a private reading from me, my email address is below, thehangedmaninthemoon@gmail.com. Send me an email and we'll get you a reading. Okay, friends, so thank you very much for walking this walk with me and following on this journey with me. And now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.